Omar Pinheiro, known professionally as Smokepurrp, burst onto the rap scene in the mid-2010s as part of the SoundCloud rap wave, a movement that redefined hip-hop with its raw, DIY ethos and rebellious energy. For a brief moment, Smokepurrp seemed poised for stardom, riding the success of his 2017 single Audi and securing high-profile affiliations with Alamo Records and Travis Scott's Cactus Jack imprint. Yet, less than a decade later, his relevance has faded dramatically. His name is more likely to evoke nostalgia than excitement. In this video, we'll be discussing why Smokepurrp was destined to fail from the beginning due to a combination of factors. If you're new here, my name's Ron. I upload 3 videos on hip-hop every week, and I'm currently on the push to 10K subscribers, so if you want to help me out on that journey, I'd really appreciate it. And with that being said, let's get right into the video. Smokepurrp's emergence was inseparable from the SoundCloud rap phenomenon, a subgenre that thrived in the mid-2010s on distorted beats, mumbled delivery, and an unpolished aesthetic. Born in Chicago in 1997 and raised in Miami, Smokepurrp found his footing alongside peers like Lil Pump, XXXTentacion, and Ski Mask the Slump God, uploading tracks to SoundCloud that resonated with a generation craving immediacy and rebellion. His breakout hit Audi, released in 2017, epitomized his ethos, repetitive bass-heavy and dripping with autotune. It was less a song than a vibe, perfectly suited for viral hype on platforms like YouTube and Instagram. However, the qualities that propelled Smokepurrp to prominence tethered him from a specific moment in time. SoundCloud rap was a reaction to the polished production that lyrical complexity of mainstream hip-hop, offering instead a chaotic, youthful energy that prioritized mood over substance. This worked brilliantly in 2016 and 2017 when the novelty of mumble rap captivated listeners and disrupted traditional gatekeepers. But as a product of this trend, Smokepurrp's career was inherently vulnerable to an expiration date. By 2018, the SoundCloud wave began to crest. XXXTentacion's tragic death, Lil Peep's overdose, and Lil Pump's pivot to mainstream pop rap signaled a shift. Audiences and industry tastemakers moved on, seeking either more substance or fresher gimmicks. Smokepurrp's inability to evolve beyond this niche doomed him from the start. His debut mixtape Dead Star in 2017 peaked at number 42 on the Billboard 200, a respectable showing fueled by Audi and features from Travis Scott and Chief Keef. Yet subsequent releases like Dead Star 2 in 2019 and Florida Jit in 2020 saw diminishing returns, with the latter failing to chart entirely. Critics and fans alike noted a lack of progression, his sound that remained static, a relic of a bygone micro-era. In a genre that thrives on re-innovation, Smokepurrp's adherence to a dated formula made failure inevitable. He was a poster child for a movement that burned bright but brief, and when the spotlight shifted, he had little to offer beyond nostalgia from 2017. In the rap world, beef can be a double-edged sword. Handled well, it can elevate an artist's profile. Mishandled, it invites backlash and irrelevance. Smokepurrp's decision to disrespect J. Cole, a revered figure in hip-hop known for his introspection and lyricism, falls firmly on the latter category. Alongside his close collaborator Lil Pump, Smokepurrp engaged in a bizarre, unprovoked campaign against Cole in the late 2010s, a move that alienated fans and painted him as an ignorant gimmick rather than a serious contender. The feud's origins trace back to 2016 when Lil Pump tweeted, "Bitch, I'm better than J. Cole, F all that lyrical shit." A sentiment Smokepurrp echoed in his own proclamations, including a 2017 tweet proposing a tag team deathmatch pitting himself and Pump against Cole and Kendrick Lamar. The duo doubled down by previewing a diss track titled FJ Cole produced by Smokepurrp, though it never saw a full release. At concerts, they led many FJ Cole chants, further stoking the flames. While Smokepurrp later claimed on Montreality in 2018 that it was all trolling, the damage was already done. This antagonization backfired for several reasons. First, J. Cole commanded immense respect across hip-hop spectrum. Fans admired his authenticity and peers valued his consistency. Targeting him without provocation made Smokepurrp and Lil Pump appear immature, especially given their reliance on gimmicks rather than skill. Second, Cole's response, or lack thereof, amplified the disparity. On his 2018 track 1985, Cole offered a measured critique on the new generation, warning of their fleeting fame without naming names. Lines like "these rappers only as hard as their last shit, all of a sudden you're out of fashion" were widely interpreted as a jab at Pump and Smokepurrp, and fans ran with this narrative that Cole had predicted their downfall. The 1985 effect, as some dubbed it, seemed to manifest in Smokepurrp's trajectory. Posts on X in 2022, like one from Daily Rap Facts stating Smokepurrp faded into irrelevancy after disrespecting J. Cole, reflect a sentiment that his hubris invited a lot of room for criticism. Whether or not Cole's words directly influenced Smokepurrp's decline, the feud alienated a segment of hip-hop fans who might have otherwise given him a chance. Instead of building bridges with established artists to bolster his credibility, Smokepurrp burned one with a titan, cementing his image as a flash-in-the-pan provocateur rather than a lasting talent. This self-inflicted wound was a critical misstep in which he never recovered from. In 2017, Smokepurrp signing to Travis Scott's Cactus Jack Records seemed like a golden opportunity. Scott, a visionary artist and tastemaker, had a knack for elevating collaborators. Look at Don Toliver or Sheck West, who parlayed Cactus Jack affiliations into sustained careers. For Smokepurrp, already riding with the Dead Star wave, this partnership promised production resources, industry clout, and a platform to reach Scott's massive audience. Yet he fumbled this opportunity, failing to capitalize on the association, quietly parting ways from the label in 2019. The cracks were evident early. While Dead Star featured Travis Scott on Fingers Blue, the collaboration felt more like a favor than a foundation of synergy. Smokepurrp's subsequent outputs under Cactus Jack, namely the 2018 mixtape Bless Your Trap with Murda Beats, lacked Scott's direct involvement and failed to replicate Dead Star's buzz. By the time Dead Star 2 dropped in 2019, Smokepurrp was releasing music through Alamo and Interscope with no mention of Cactus Jack. In a 2020 Instagram comment, he clarified, "Nah, I went to Interscope/Alamo," suggesting the split was his choice, but the silence around the departure hinted at a lack of a mutual investment. Why did this fail? Smokepurrp's output didn't align with the ambitious, polished aesthetic that Scott cultivated. Where Scott's blended trap with psychedelic experimentation, Smokepurrp stuck to the redundant SoundCloud tropes, repetitive hooks, minimal lyricism, and throwaway vibes. Fans of Travis Scott on Reddit celebrated his exit with a 2020 post declaring so happy that Travis kicked Smokepurrp from Cactus Jack, reflecting a consensus that he was a poor fit. Scott's camp thrived on artists who could evolve or complement his vision. Smokepurrp, by contrast, seemed content to coast, squandering studio time and mentorship that could have elevated his craft. This fumble was a death knell. The Cactus Jack affiliation could have been a lifeline, bridging him from SoundCloud obscurity to mainstream viability. Instead, Smokepurrp's departure left him adrift, reliant on a shrinking fanbase and a label ecosystem less invested in his growth. In a career already teetering on the edge, losing Scott's cosign was a missed chance that he couldn't afford. At the heart of Smokepurrp's failure lies the music itself. Consistently criticized as lazy, low effort, and devoid of depth, while Audi and early tracks like Ski Mask showcased the raw charisma, his catalog quickly revealed a lack of versatility or ambition. Heavy bass, slurred delivery, and lyrics fixating on flexing, drugs, and women became his calling card. But without refinement or innovation, they grew stale. Critics panned this stagnation. Florida Jit in 2020 sold just 5,000 copies in its first week, with features like Rick Ross and Jack Harlow, a damning indication of an artist who's fallen from the top. Reviews on platforms like Genius and Horrible Music Wiki lambasted the album for the same flows and themes, with several accusing him of mimicking Travis Scott or Comethazine without adding value. His verse on Dreamville's Costa Rica drew a particular ear amid a lineup of sharp MCs. Smokepurrp's contribution was mocked as incoherent and outclassed, a microism of sort calling to his broader shortcomings. Fan sentiment echoed this. A 2017 Reddit thread on r/hiphopheads recounted a disastrous Smokepurrp concert, with the poster laminating a short, uninspired set. He came out late as hell and he was leaning and geeked so hard, like the F. The perception of half-heartedness extended to his studio time. Tracks like Draco or Nephew leaned on guest stars like Lil Pump and Offset to carry them. While Smokepurrp's verses rarely rose above the generic braggadocio, unlike peers like Lil Uzi, who paired SoundCloud roots with emotional resonance, or Playboi Carti, who pushed sonic boundaries, Smokepurrp offered little to latch onto in a fleeting hype. The laziness was his undoing. Hip-hop rewards effort, whether through lyricism, production, or persona, and Smokepurpp's refusal to grow left him exposed. As the SoundCloud wave receded, his lack of substance couldn't sustain a career. He was meant to fail because he never built a foundation beyond the low bar of his early hits. Smokepurpp's trajectory is a cautionary tale of squandered potential. As a product of the SoundCloud rap bubble, he was tethered to a transient trend that he couldn't outgrow. His disrespect towards J. Cole alienated fans and framed him as a gimmick rather than an artist. Fumbling his Cactus Jack signing cost him a vital lifeline, and his lazy, low-effort music ensured he'd fade once the novelty wore off. From the start, these factors conspired against him, not as isolated missteps, but as a perfect storm of inevitability. Today, Smokepurpp lingers as a shadow of his old self, a relic of 2017, a name whispered in debates about rap's wildest era, but rarely in discussions of its future. His failure wasn't just possible, it was written in the DNA of his rise.